Muhammad Ali, January 17, 1942 June 3, 2016. American boxer, born as Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. on January 17, 1942 in Louisville, Kentucky, and died on June 3, 2016 at the age of 74 after a long struggle with Parkinson's disease. He was born into a middle-class black American family, and his father was a Methodist, but his mother raised him and his brother on the Baptist denomination after he converted to Islam in 1964 and changed his name to Muhammad Ali without his last name Clay. Clay won the World Heavyweight Champion 3 times over a period of 20 years in 1964, 1974 and 1978, and in 1999 he was crowned the title of Athlete of the Century, an award presented by the magazine Sports Illustrated, and he also received the same title after a referendum held by the Italian newspaper La Gazzetta dello Sport, after receiving 71.2% of the votes, outperforming many athletes, including Diego Maradona. He described himself as flying like a butterfly and stinging like a bee, the owner of the fastest and strongest punch in the world, with a strength equivalent to about 1,000 pounds. He retired from boxing in 1981 at the age of 39, after a career that included 56 wins, including 37 by knockout and 5 defeats, and was crowned with the world title 3 different times. On May 26, 2000, a law was passed in his name by Congress, known as the Ali Law, in order to protect the rights of boxers. His beginnings in the boxing world. Muhammad Ali's debut in the boxing world came by chance when he was 12 years old. He achieved several titles at the local and national levels when he was under 18, and won the gold medal of the Rome Summer Olympics in 1960 in the light heavyweight category, and in October 1960 the player turned to the professional world, where during the next 3 years he fought 19 fights in which he won all of them, including 15 by knockout, and he also achieved surprise in February 1964 by defeating the then world boxing champion Sonny Liston, and won as the youngest boxer, 22 years old, to achieve the championship title in this field. Muhammad Ali is a Muslim. But before he joined the Sunnis, he chose to belong to the Nation of Islam group, and the reason for choosing this group dates back to Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad was born in Georgia in 1898, and his father named him Elijah Paul. But in 1923 he moved to Detroit and settled there, and 8 years after settling there he was visited by a merchant from the East named W.D. Farid, W.D. Farid, D. Fred, who is half African American and half white, was able to be accepted by African Americans in the United States and become their leader. Farid Elijah taught Muhammad the principles of the Islamic religion. There are stories and legends that are told about the origin of Farid and about his Islam, and that he received his Islam from a black man in Mecca named Jacob. Muhammad Ali began secretly frequenting Elijah Muhammad, attending his religious classes at the turn of the 60s. In fact, Muhammad Ali initially refused to join the Nation of Islam. He and African Americans at that time were called Black Muslims, because of his passion for boxing. But in 1964, after Muhammad Ali managed to oust boxer Sonny Liston from the boxing throne, who was only 22 years old at the time, the Nation of Islam became more receptive to him and agreed to recruit him as a member. Shortly thereafter, Elijah Muhammad recorded a statement that Clay would be called Muhammad, as the name of the Prophet of Islam, and Ali, as the name of Ali ibn Abi Talib. At that time, Muhammad Ali moved to the south side of Chicago, lived in a series of houses, all of which were near the residence of Elijah Muhammad and the mosques of the Nation of Islam, and stayed in Chicago for 12 years. Muhammad Ali's accession to the Nation of Islam did not last long, as he disagreed with many of their ideas. He embraced Sunni Islam, the doctrine of al-Sunnah and the community. Then he created his charitable and advocacy work in an attempt to correct the wrong image that was entrenched in the minds of the West about Islam and Muslims, and he was proud to be a Sunni Muslim. His attitude to the Vietnam War in 1964. Muhammad Ali failed to qualify in tests to join the United States Army because his writing and language skills were substandard. However, at the beginning of 1966, the tests were revised and Muhammad Ali was classified as belonging to Level 1A, which qualified him to join the armed forces. This was extremely dangerous, because the United States was at war with Vietnam. When he was told of his success in the tests, he announced that he refused to serve in the United States Army and considered himself an opponent of the war. Muhammad Ali said, "This war is against the teachings of the Quran, and we, as Muslims, are not supposed to fight wars unless it is for the sake of Allah." As he declared in 1966, "I will not fight them. They did not call me a Negro." Title withdrawal in 1967, at the peak of his boxing victories. The title was withdrawn from him due to his refusal to join the military service in the United States Army during the Vietnam War, objecting to the war. Like many at that time, he had received the support of many in his opposition, and the American Army suffered great losses in that war, as he expected. Muhammad Ali returned to boxing again in 1970 in a match described as the match of the century, against Joe Frazier, where no defeat was recorded for either of them in any match before, and it was a match of 3 sporadic matches, 2 of which Muhammad Ali won. And in 1974, Muhammad Ali defeated the powerful boxer Foreman to regain the boxing throne in the USA and the world with captivity. Muhammad Ali Sports Credit. Muhammad Ali has 61 fights, including 56 wins, 37 by knockout, and 5 losses. The first to boxer Joe Frazier on March 8, 1971, the second to Ken Norton on March 31, 1973, the third to Leon Spinks on February 15, 1978, the fourth to Larry Holmes on October 2, 1980, and the fifth to Trevor Berbick on December 11, 1981. His personal life. Muhammad Ali was married 4 times and has 7 daughters and 2 sons. Muhammad Ali met his first wife, cocktail waitress Sunji Roy, and they married on August 14, 1964. Roy's objections to Islamic etiquette in women's clothing contributed to the collapse of this marriage, and they were divorced on January 10, 1966, at the age of 25. Muhammad Ali later married Belinda Boyd, 17 years old, on August 17, 1967. Belinda was extradited after the marriage, and her name became Kala Ali. Although her family and old friends continued to call her by the name Belinda, they had 5 sons: Mariam, 1968, Jamila and Lipan, 1970, and little Muhammad Ali, 1972. Muhammad Ali got acquainted with a woman named Veronica Birch in 1975, and in the summer of 1977, the second marriage of Muhammad Ali ended and he married Veronica. During the marriage, they had a daughter, Hannah, and another daughter, Layla, in December 1977, but they were divorced in 1986. On November 19, 1986, Muhammad Ali married Belinda Ali after an acquaintance that had been going on since 1964 in Louisville, where their mother was a close friend. She also denied what was reported that he was her babysitter when she was a child, and they adopted one child named Asad. Muhammad Ali also married twice according to the Islamic ceremony during his marriage with Belinda Boyd, but both marriages were not legally recognized because polygamy is illegal in the United States of America. One of them was in 1974 from Wanda Bolton, who later became known as Aisha Ali, and this marriage resulted in a daughter named Free in the same year. The other marriage was with Patricia Harville, and in 1972 they had a daughter named Mia. Among his most famous boxers are his match against Ernie Terrell. Muhammad Ali was scheduled to meet World Boxing Association champion Ernie Terrell in Chicago in March 1966. At that time, he had withdrawn his title from Muhammad Ali after converting to Islam and refusing to participate in the Vietnam War, and instead of getting involved in the war, Muhammad Ali traveled to Europe and Canada to fight against Henry Cooper and George Caballo. Upon his return to the United States, Muhammad Ali set out to meet Cleveland Williams in a covered arena in Houston on November 14, 1966. This match drew attention for achieving a record attendance in the indoor hall, which reached 35,460 people. Williams was previously considered one of the toughest boxers in the heavyweight division, but in 1964 he was shot at close range by a Texas policeman, resulting in the loss of one of his kidneys and 10 feet, 3 meters, of his small intestine. Muhammad Ali was able to dominate the match against Williams, winning by technical knockout in the 3rd round in what some consider to be his best performance of his career. Muhammad Ali fought Ernie Terrell in Houston in 1967. Terrell is considered Ali's second toughest opponent after Liston, an undefeated boxer for 5 years, and after he defeated several boxers Muhammad Ali had to face him. Terrell was big and powerful, 3 inches taller than Ali. During the run-up to the match, Terrell repeatedly insulted Muhammad Ali in the media, calling him by his old name Casillas Clay, intending to annoy him by doing so. "I want to torture him with a knockout." This made Muhammad Ali determined to take revenge on him, and he gave Terrell his famous line in one of the television interviews, "Why don't you call me by my name, man? I didn't tell you that my name is Casillas Clay, but my name is Muhammad Ali. I will punish you and make you say my real name inside the ring after the fight if you don't say it now." And already in the 7th round of the match, blood began to flow from Terrell's face. And in the 8th round, Ali taunted Terrell, aimed blows at him and shouted, "What's my name? What is my name?" Ali won that match and forced everyone to respect his new name. Terrell claimed that early in the match Muhammad Ali deliberately injured his left eye, forcing Terrell to complete the match half-blind. Critics called the fight one of the ugliest boxing fights. As the critics wrote, "It was a brilliant demonstration of boxing skill and a display of brutal barbarity." Ali denied the accusations against him of cruelty to his opponent, saying, "I didn't hate him, I didn't like him, but I didn't hate him, but he wasn't joking about my name. He was deliberately insulting and I don't accept joking about my religion in my name," he said. Boxing of the century. In 1970 Muhammad Ali was allowed to box again for the championship title against Joe Frazier, who was rated as undefeated. Ali and Frazier faced off in 1971 at the Madison Ring, and it was called the Showdown of the Century because the two boxers had never been defeated before, and the two were seeking to win the championship. Frazier was able to win with a powerful punch and thus inflicted his first defeat on Clay, but Muhammad Ali won many matches after that. In 1973, after defeating Ken Norton, the strongest heavyweight boxer of the time, he went on to face Frazier in the championship again, but this time Muhammad Ali was able to win and get the championship title. In one of the strongest matches in the history of boxing, Muhammad Ali was able to defeat the strong boxer George Foreman in Zaire in 1974, and the match was in a forest, so it was called boxing or facing the forest. In fact, no one expected Muhammad Ali's victory over Foreman because of the strength of the latter, who was able to defeat Frazier with a crushing result. In total statistics, he knocked him down with one punch 6 times in 4 minutes and 30 seconds. But with an amazing tactic, Muhammad Ali was able to defeat Foreman and get the title, and the confrontation with the forest was the winning theme of cultural films in 1996, and the match was ranked as the 7th greatest sporting moment in illness and death. Illness and death. Muhammad Ali was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, Parkinson's, in 1984, and his health deteriorated significantly in 2005, followed by health setbacks, as he spent a period of time every year in a hospital in Phoenix, Arizona. In February 2013, he was taken to the hospital and his brother Rahman Ali told the New York Times that he was in critical condition and could leave at any moment, before his daughter denied it. He also suffered from pneumonia and urine, after which he was hospitalized in 2014 and 2015. On the 2nd of June 2016, Clay was hospitalized again due to a breathing problem, after which international newspapers and channels confirmed that the legendary boxer was really dying, and that his family was preparing for the burial ceremony after doctors announced that he was about to die, before his death was announced on the morning of June 3, 2016. His family said the funeral service would be in his hometown of Louisville, Kentucky.